Thank you, Madam President. This is not the first time that I've come to the floor to discuss the situation that is on our nation's southern border and the need that we as a country have for stronger, more efficient immigration policy. I've made more than one trip to South Texas this year, and each time I return, I find myself more motivated to cut through the noise and to get something done. What should be a practical policy discussion has unfortunately turned political, and very real problems have compounded into an unprecedented crisis. Within these halls, we have debates over asylum caps and visa requirements. They are indeed important issues, but recent reports on the explosion of human rights violations perpetrated by cartels, coyotes, and international gangs has added some much-needed context to these debates. By now, we've all heard how dangerous the journey to our southern border can be for those who are being brought forward by cartels, coyotes, and international gangs. Traffickers have really built a big business, a very big and profitable business, on moving drugs and desperate human cargo across the border. Sometimes these individuals make it, and sometimes the guides leave their charges to die alone in the desert. Rumors of abuse, assault, gang rape have manifested and been proven true. Border Patrol agents at most ports of entry administer pregnancy tests to girls as young as 12 years of age. While we waste time arguing over talking points, monsters, absolute monsters, are dragging children into the crosshairs of an international crisis. While we debate the best way to amend our loose asylum laws, traffickers are finding ways to exploit those laws, using children to force their way back and forth across the border under the guise of parental legitimacy. Child recycling is a crude term, but an accurate term, and we define it as when a minor is used more than once by alien adults who are neither relatives nor legal guardians, but pose as family members for the purposes of crossing the border. How despicable and how very selfish of them. Child recycling isn't a myth, unfortunately. It's not an urban legend. It is a definite, well-defined, clear, and present danger. DHS has uncovered more than 5,500 fraudulent asylum claims since May of 2018. I want you to think about that number. 5,500 fraudulent asylum claims since May of 2018. Customs and Border Patrol tell us that unaccompanied minors are particularly vulnerable to trafficking, and that drug runners and sex predators are rolling the dice on these fraudulent asylum claims to move their product, which, bear in mind, this is people and drugs, to move them more efficiently. Earlier this year, Immigration and Customs Enforcement introduced a pilot program they believed would help determine how serious the child recycling problem is. They began administering DNA tests on all adults accompanied by minors who claimed a familial relationship, but lacked the paperwork to prove this relationship. As a safeguard, all swabs are destroyed and no genetic profiles were collected or stored. The purpose was solely to prove a DNA match. And thank goodness somebody was watching. The results have been horrifying. 1 in 5 claims of kinship are fraudulent. That means 1 in 5 children who were brought to the border and then funneled into the pilot program were likely being exploited. I ask my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to say that finally we have had enough and to voice their support for the End Child Trafficking Now Act. This act requires the Department of Health and Human Services, in conjunction with the Department of Homeland Security, to administer DNA tests for all adults accompanied by minors at a port of entry who claim a familial relationship without sufficient legal documentation to prove the connection. Refusal of the test will be met with immediate deportation. Fabrication of family ties or guardianship will carry a maximum 10-year penalty, and the child will be processed as an unaccompanied minor under current law. Proven family members and guardians, however, will be allowed to move forward with the immigration process. The tests themselves are simple: a quick swab of the cheek and a quick wait. And I say quick because we'll be using a new form of genetic testing that can analyze a DNA sample in about 90 minutes. Now, I'll tell you, I am aware that the various factions in this chamber have vastly different approaches to immigration reform. We should be having a serious discussion about the fundamental flaws in our policies and our plans to fix them. I welcome these discussions and I look forward to the changes, but I know, and my colleagues know, that no one bill or package will repair what is broken in our current immigration system. There is no viable quick fix. We owe it to this country. We owe it to the children that are brought here under duress, under false premises, to do whatever we can to prevent what experience and pilot testing has proved that we can indeed prevent. Let's make certain that children coming to the southern border are with family and that they are protected. I yield the floor.